Live with Jen from BK. And yes, the new season of Power is Sunday. I am so excited to have this woman on the line with me right here. Miss Lela Loren, a.k.a. Angela Valdez of Power. Hey, Lela.
Hey, how are you? It's so great to be here.
Yes, so listen, as you already know, I'm a big Power fan. I watch it religiously. And I'm sure you hear that a lot from all your fans out there. But, you know, I've got to ask you.
Yeah, our fans in particular, like, we don't have any, like, lukewarm fans. They're like, when I have nothing better to do. And it's like, no, they're fanatics. It's awesome.
Exactly. I'm proof of that because I'm one of them. But I got to ask you, you've done so many TV shows, you know, in your career so far. And when you read for this character and the script, what made Angela different for you?
It's interesting because, like, I think what made her different for me was she was written really, really strong. Mm-hmm. And I know people like to sort of bandy that word about, but there was a lot of space in the way that she was written for this, like, really deep longing and vulnerability. And I found, like, how great, because most of the time, the stronger the person that I meet on the outside, like, the harder the shell, the more vulnerable and sort of fragile the interior. And I think, like, I was like, oh, that's going to be a really fun thing to play and to work with. Because the truth is our strength as women is usually because we have to sort of protect ourselves.
Talk that talk, girl.
You know,
That's
from
right.
either our hearts getting crushed or that sort of that narrative that we have on the inside that nothing ever good is going to happen to me. So I have to kind of pretend that I don't even want it. Mm-hmm. So when I read Angela, I read that, and then also, she's someone who can be manipulative and cunning, and sort of like all the characters on Power have their shady side. Mm-hmm. And as an actor, like, that's so much fun to play. Because you don't really get to play that in real life.
So you're saying you're nothing like Angie
like
in real life.
murdering people for pretend is awesome.
Well, did you know that Power was going to be such a phenomenon as it is now? Did you expect that? Because it is for sure, without a doubt, one of the best TV shows out there right now, I think ever, that's been on television. Did you ever think it would get to this level?
God, that is so amazing to hear. No, I know that some of our castmates are like, yeah, I knew. I can say that the best way to describe doing the first season of Power is like inviting your entire family, extended family over and cooking Thanksgiving dinner for the first time when you've never cooked Thanksgiving dinner and just praying to God that it's going to turn out and you don't know. Because when you're in it, you're doing I could say that everyone was doing their best, but like you don't have perspective because you're too close to it. And it gaining the momentum that it has been such an overwhelmingly wonderful surprise.
And it's funny you say that, the analogy about the Thanksgiving dinner, not sure, not knowing, because, when there's a lot of shows like these have come out before, right? It's crime, it's drama, it's centered around some
right.
sort of, yeah. So when I watched Power and I saw these episodes and I saw how well the storyline was and the script was and everything was just flowing, I was just completely speechless. I was shocked. Because I know at the same time when Power came out, Empire was also rising. Not to throw shade on Empire.
Well, it's almost like an entirely different genre. Like Empire is more slick, more soapy. Power is more gritty. It just, both have their niche. But it's interesting. It's the problem with all of us people of color. We kind of get lumped into this sort of the same category, and we're not. And it's good. People finally are starting, I think, to differentiate between the two and being like, these are apples and oranges.
Absolutely. And between you and I, obviously, I'm a bigger Power fan. I don't even watch Empire anymore. But that's just
well, good. You have
taste. And I got to ask, because even during that time, 50 Cent was even going in. But, I mean, how is it working with 50 on set and just with him in the whole process? Because he's a wild dude, but we love 50.
He's fantastic. Like his IG persona is, he doesn't bring that to set. He's really warm and kind, and no matter who you are, treats everyone with the same sort of open warmness and kindness. And when he shows up to work, and he's delightful.
Love it. Just like a boss man should be. I got to get in.
Yeah.
And I got to get in. There was just so much going on in the season finale before we get into the new season.
Yeah, there's a lot. And for everybody out there who's listening, Angela didn't see the scene where Mike kills Greg. She didn't see that scene. The audience knows more than she does. She legitimately thinks that Ghost murdered him. So I think for Angela, it's like that ending is she's that type of character who will do her job at the cost of her own heart. I mean, when you go back, it's like Angela never came looking for Jamie. She happened to walk accidentally into his club. He chased her down, hooked her, was like, wooing her, giving her this necklace, and then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm married with kids, right? And then she's like, go be with your family. He is like, no, you're the one I love. I can't let you go. And her boundaries cave. She is in love with this man, right? And so she's like, oh, shit. So he has this promise that he's going to clean up his family life. And it's really interesting that the onus gets put on the woman for the affair, when in reality, he was the one driving it. She did a poor job of, not keeping her boundaries up, of saying, handle your shit first, then come knocking. She caved. Mm-hmm. But she wasn't she's not like those girls that troll the basketball players, houses.
Like the thoughts? Yeah, I hear ya.
Yeah, she came and she went to return that expensive necklace saying, I don't want it. And then that's when he, decided to work his charms over her, give her the goods. And then it's and then she finds out, he's this drug dealer, and it's like, no, but he's promising, I'm the guy that you really always believed in, just let me change, give me a chance to change. Mm-hmm. And so she has a body count by the end of episode 2 where he's all beat up and all these people have been killed, mm-hmm. and he's basically without saying it, he's telling her, I had to do this in order to get out of the game. And so she lets that slide because she loves him, because she has the promise of who he's going to be still in her heart. And then he murders Lobos, and she still doesn't do anything. So when Greg gets killed, it's her being like, I have to stop this madness, and I have to expose him to as many people for kind of the fake that he is. Mm-hmm. It's interesting because when people are like, how could Angela do ghosts like that? It's like, well, that's how.
After all these years of holding you down and being ride or die and dealing with all this, Angela's I had enough. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I have a love-hate relationship with Angela, right? Because I was... As
you should with all the characters. One of the wonderful, brilliant things about what Courtney does is she puts a hitch in everything. Mm-hmm. So, on the surface, sure, Ghost and Tasha have a great relationship, but there's a hitch in it. There's a hitch in their character where Ghost is sort of more concerned with her outward appearance and sort of puts her down about her not being, classy enough, and then she likes the power trip of the attraction of the younger chauffeur played by Cinquan Walls. Mm-hmm. So there's a hitch there. With Angela, the hitch is, yes, it's authentically her holding up this vision for who he is, but she also doesn't know who he is. Mm-hmm. And they're going about it in a kind of, not an appropriate way. He doesn't get a divorce and then starts courting her. He mashes it all together, and she doesn't stick to her boundaries. And so you can't, it's she wants you to root for these characters, and then she sours it a little, and that's kind of brilliant.
And between you and I think we should just blame Ghost for everything. I mean, why not?
Well, yeah.
There you go.
Yes. Here's the interesting thing to look at in the story. Everything that Ghost touches, he eventually corrupts.
I love it. I absolutely love this show. Lela, before I let you go, I just want to ask you some 5 quick random questions.
Oh, boy.
Glass half full or glass half empty?
I say fuck the glass, spill it on the floor.
Pizza or sushi?
Pizza.
If I were not an actress, I would be doing blank.
I would be in Africa studying primates.
Ooh, is that something you were into growing up?
That was what I initially thought I was going to do.
What? And how did you get into acting then? How did that world merge? Or, how did you transition over that?
Such a weird hook by crook, series of bizarre events that I don't even understand. Classes that got canceled and the registrar putting me in an acting class that I never signed up for and hating it, but it getting underneath my skin. And then just falling in love with it and then having to, be terrified that maybe I've ruined my life.
No. Well, it turned out for the better.
I honestly thought I was going to be a waitress my entire life.
Name 2 songs or artists that's playing on your playlist.
London Grammar, and I've always got the Roots. I love the Roots. I have the song The Seed on repeat. I love that song.
Wow.
And I have to say, I remember listening to it forever before I bothered letting the lyrics sink in. I was like, oh, this song is hot.
Who'd win in a fight, Tasha or Angela, if it ever happened? I know that's both classy women, but if it ever went down.
If it ever really, really went down, I think Angela's got more up her sleeve than people give her credit for. She's a hood girl. I, though, on the other hand, fight like a hamster, so let's not get confused me with Angela.
Okay, and last one, because I know you got to go. Who has the real power? Tommy, Ghost, or Kanan?
It's so weird because I think power is meant on this show ironically. I would say right now, though, Kanan, because Ghost doesn't know that he's alive. Whenever he's like the surprise at the end of the cereal box, at the bottom of the cereal box, that often awful surprise. And so whenever you have that, you're the one who has the power.
Is he going to be an X Factor in this season? Is he going to kind of change the tide a little bit?
Kanan is going to be hell-bent on ruining Ghost's life until that man is dead. And since he ain't dead, well, there's still more story to tell in that area. If the end of season 3 left your jaw on the floor, the end of this season, I can safely say, you're going to, need to have, group therapy.
Girl,
all the fans are going to need to get together and fucking hold each other's hands and talk it out. This is an incredible and amazing season. I am so thrilled to be a part of it. And so I'm really excited to also see, the new characters that are coming in to kind of infuse our story and keep it going.
There it is. Lela Loren, thank you so much for calling up to my show.
Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
Season 4 premiere of Power. Make sure you tune in.
Yeah, don't miss it, guys.